We know toy companies like Hasbro, Kenner, Mattel, Galoob, Trademasters. But what about when department stores make their own action figures? Well, although these are said to be made by department stores, I did a video on one that was made by Zayres, a fake Transformers, but they're really just made from an independent company in another country where they sell the rights to that department store. And today we're going to look at Woolworths and their action figure line. Actually, they had a few different action figure lines. Now, what is Woolworths? Well, it's kind of a department store. It started as what they would call a nickel and dime store. I think that's what you call it, nickel and dime. Is that right? Check my notes. Five and a dime store. Whew, 5 and a dime. So that's five, and that's a nickel and dime store. Yeah. So started back in the late 1800s. Actually, if I check my notes again, I'll find out it was 1879. Whew. That was a long time ago, 1879. And sadly, it went out of business in 1997. Although technically they're kind of still around. I think they owned Foot Locker, and now they kind of still have those and still kind of linked to Woolworths. But the department store that we know as Woolworth is gone. But like I said, they did some action figures. That's right, action figures. Now, my good buddy Larry J. Wampa, he's never been to a Woolworths, but all the time he loves. Larry, what's that you like to say about the Woolworths?
About once a day, I like to say, "Stay out of the Woolworths." It's from a movie. It's really funny. One of my favorite movie quotes ever. Stay out of the Woolworths.
I remember that. That's from a movie. What movie was that from?
It was called "Oh Brother, Where You At?"
That's right. That's a funny movie. So today, we're going to look at toys from Woolworths. Now, there's not many of them, but we're going to pull up the list right here, take a look at them. In fact, let's start with one that's aimed more for girls. And this was 1985, and this was Woolworth's way to take away some of those sales from Mattel's He-Man line, or at least probably the Sheila line. Let's look at their girls action figure line called Galaxy Girl. Here they are, Galaxy Girls. Galaxy Girl. Now, weird thing about this action figure line, as you can tell, they're trying to rip off She-Ra for sure. They don't have any names on them. I mean, I guess you can call them blue hair, pink hair, blonde hair. But even on the package, even on the back of the package, the figures have no name. Now, if you ask me here, this one here looks like the She-Ra figure of the line. And they look really cheap and plastic. It looks like their legs are about to pop off. They really don't look like sturdy figures. But then again, they are from a department store. They're from Woolworths, so you can't expect too much. And it seems like they were $3 at Woolworths. Galaxy Girl. What a good name right there. Galaxy Girl. I wonder if they took any sales away from She-Ra. I wonder if Mattel got mad. So we're losing sales to Woolworths Galaxy Girl. I doubt it. Larry, Woolworths. They came from Woolworth.
Hey, stay out of the Woolworths.
He's going to be saying that all night now. Well, let's go to 1986 for another line of figures. These were more rubbery-like figures, and they were monsters, but they didn't want to scare kids, so a lot of them have a really goofy, happy face. Let's take a look at Monster Man. I don't know why they didn't call them Monster Men, because there's more than one, but as you can see here, we've got a Birdman, we have a Fireman, a Milkman, there was also Lizard Man that looks extra happy, there was Snowman, and there was Tree Man in this line. And like the Galaxy Girl figures, these didn't have a name either. I guess they just didn't have time to sit around and think up silly names for them. Or they just figured kid would know. This one looks like a lizard, so he's Lizard Man. This one's all white, so we'll call him Snowman. Who knows why they didn't put names on them, but they didn't. Monster Man. Monster Man, I love that name. So, sorry about that. Thundering outside. Ooh, scary. So, in 1980, G.I. Joe was kind of a dead toy line. I mean, the doll size wasn't popular anymore, and it wouldn't be until 1982 when they sized down G.I. Joe to a more acceptable play size for the 80s. But that didn't stop Woolworths from trying to get some kids to buy their G.I. Joe style action figures. And they actually had two lines, both in 1980. If you can call them two lines. I mean, this first one we're going to look at is called Action Heroes. And it has an S on it, but as far as I can find out, they only released one figure in this line. One figure in this line. Let's take a look at it. And although he's ready for action, he doesn't have a name. It does look like he comes with a parachute, which is really cool. You remember getting these as a kid? You would get the parachute with a figure, throw it up, and the parachute would open. It'll work about 3 times, and it would get all tangled or ripped or something and never work again. But here's the fully posable. I take question with that. I don't know if I would call that fully posable. Posable, yes. Fully, it's about as fully posable as a Star Wars Kenner figure. But here's the action hero himself. It was $1.29. Not too bad. On the back of the card, just plain cardboard. How cheap can you get? Just so you know, I'm not BSing you. Yep, it's a Woolworth figure. Distributed by F.W. Woolworth Corporation. From New York City. New York City! Whoo-hoo! City folks. Larry, that Woolworths was from New York City.
New York City? Oh my, oh no. I hope if I'm ever in a Woolworths in New York City, they tell me, stay out of the Woolworths.
Yeah, Larry, we'll stay out of the Woolworths. So let's look at one more action figure line that was made, or I guess distributed by, Woolworths. And this is another military line to kind of take away, I would say it'd take away from G.I. Joe sales, but this came out 2 years before G.I. Joe went small. Let's take a look at U.S. Commando Squad. Again, we have a line of action figures with no names. We just got Soldier 1, Soldier 2, Soldier 3, Soldier 4, Soldier 5, and a Soldier 6. That's right, there's only 6 of these released. And these aren't the plastic action figures that your brother had. These are die-cast figures. I don't know who thought it was a great plan to give kids a die-cast action figure. That's like letting little kids play with a rock. You know he's going to hit his sister upside the head with it by the end of the day, and the figure is going to be taken away. And probably the most scariest looking one of all this line is this one here, wearing a face mask. Looks like a bank robber. Or maybe he looks like a gimp. But again, these U.S. Commando Squad action figures was sold only at Woolworths. U.S. Commando Squad. Did you have those? I bet not. Larry, did you buy these?
No, I never had those. But did you know I can do a great impression of the guy that says, stay out of the Woolworths? Here goes. That's a really good.
And stay out of the Woolworth.
Y'all tired of hearing that yet? That's my plan. Do it so much you get tired of hearing. What, Larry?
Stay out of the Woolworths.
I had to do it at least one more time. Anyway, that's a look at the time Woolworths sold action figures. They didn't sell many of them, but they sold some of them. Maybe if you had a Woolworth in your town, you had some of these Woolworth action figures. Maybe you had the military. Maybe you had the fake She-Ra action figure line. Who knows? Maybe you even had the Monster Men. You could have had those. Who knows? What's that, Larry?
And stay out of the Woolworth.
Now you're even getting on my nerves. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Thumb us on your like my content. Subscribe to the channel. And we'll talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.